Hello, welcome. Thank you for your patience. I call this meeting to order at 6:17. Again, apologies for the delay. So I have board members present. We've got the full house: Steve Brown, Jack Nicolai, myself, Dana Powers, Nick Poloni, and Ted Gergen. No, none of us are remote. None of us are absent. And we have Connie with us here physically. Is anybody?
No, there weren't topics on that applied to them, so.
Great. No administration virtually, and we do not have any visitors in the room. So if I could get a motion on the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda as written.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And our agenda is approved. Go ahead.
So we have a significant topic tonight, but we have a couple guests also, so I would like to introduce each of them. Brianna Hellenbrand from M3, are you there?
I am here, yes. Hello, Connie.
Hi, welcome. You have worked with Brianna in the past. She is our representative for M3 and our broker for insurance. And then we also have Katie Hill from UHC. Are you there, Katie?
I am here. Good evening.
Welcome. So we'll get
Thanks for
started.
having us.
Yeah, I just want to remind our board that we, in our employee handbook right now, says that we'll provide 85% of our family in single premium. That looks a little different for our school year hourly employees. But just kind of reminding you then, every year we go through this process of making a determination as to what our health insurance is provided for our employees. This year we had a significant increase that was put in by WPS statewide in ARISE, WPS Select Now, formerly ARISE. And we knew that that would have a significant impact on us as a district. Overall, kind of a shared cost with the district and our employees would be about $435,000 additional from last school year. And then going back, if you remember last year when we went through this process, we had taken a 12% increase at that time back a year ago. We knew that that was going to be really difficult for the district, so with the help of Brianna Hellenbrand and M3, we went out to bid, and I had shared that with the board. We would be doing that. WPS stayed with their 28% increase. United Healthcare came in with an actual 7.74% decrease, and there were no other bidders. WPS would not renegotiate. So when you look at the two, you can see the district total for WPS and WPS Select would be 1.9 million, with UHC 1.4 million. So a pretty significant difference there. And I don't want to go over this form. It's a benefit analysis, only to say that when we went out to bid, we spec'd it to what we had presently. So if you go across and you look at the different plans, they're identical in terms of what they cover. And that was intentional because that's how we spec the bidding process. The United Healthcare bid that came in, one of the things we look at is to see how kind of that disruption, how much disruption would occur in terms of our employees having to go to different doctors or different facilities or those types of kind of disruptions. The majority of our claims, as I had mentioned, go through Aurora, Froedtert, Ascension, Children's Medical College, Pro Healthcare, Bellin, ThedaCare, and UW Health, all of which are in network under UHC. So from what we could tell, there would be very, very minimal disruption. We also shared with all of our employees where they could go in to check and see if the doctors that they were presently seeing would be ones that they would still be able to see. I think what was key was kind of looking at the overall map. As you can see, this is your hospitals. Under UHC, all of the major Kenosha, Milwaukee, all of the area hospitals would still be covered under UHC. And again, I won't go through all of these, but again, just pointing out, preventative care is covered 100% in the network. That was something that is important, obviously, to our employees. The 3,500 plan, meaning with the deductible, same as we had with WPS. Access to virtual visits for our employees, obviously very important during the coronavirus pandemic. And I thought one of the things that I heard a little bit from our staff that they were very appreciative of is the ability to see, with some of the negative effects of coronavirus being social emotional as well, that ability to see behavioral health professionals virtually. And then overall, just employee assistance programs, some kind of counseling around diet and that type of thing for our employees, getting rid of the tobacco or e-cigarette habit, being more physically active, and some benefit to our employees in terms of tracking some of their activity and getting costs back into their HSA, so there was some benefit there. And I actually heard a fair amount from our employees that they felt pretty good about that as an option, that would be something that they would be interested in seeing. So again, I don't want to go through all of those things, but I think what it showcased for our employees is the concept of the focus on wellness as opposed to just a straight kind of medical model with the insurance. But the big thing that obviously we looked at was the renewal impact. So I know that this print is way too tiny for anyone to read, but in taking a look overall at what the cost of the premiums would be, what our employees would pay, what the district would pay, under our plan with WPS, if you were in the WPS statewide, the district covered 85%. If you were in the WPS Select, which was the narrower network, the district covered 10%. The recommendation and the way we came up with the figures on this is that everybody would pay the 10% as the employee contribution. Because of some of the savings, the district would increase up to the 90% across the board for all that went with UHC. And so some pretty significant savings for the district in making this change, about $309,000 in overall savings from what WPS would be. And I want to be clear, it's not a $309,000 savings from this last year, but from what we would pay if we were to go continue with WPS. And again, I won't go through all these, but I took a look at some of our actual employees and what it would mean to them. So if you look at one of our single employees, for example, who is presently on WPS statewide, they would save $1,196 per year in premium payments. So a pretty significant amount. Going down, taking a look at the other end of the spectrum, a family on WPS statewide would save over $3,000 per year. There's only one very small group of employees that would actually pay a little more under this. So we have a small number of what we call limited family, but that would be a parent, for example, and multiple children. When we looked at UHC and we looked at the different breakdowns, it really didn't make sense financially from the whole group of employees to look at that kind of a policy. So what will change is that those, I believe there were only 2 people will have to go onto the family instead of that limited. And for those particular people, they'll actually have an increase over WPS, a rise of $62.28 for the year. However, they get that large increased network as well by doing that change. I think the key, we did have an information session. Brianna and Katie were a part of that, answering questions for staff and presenting the larger kind of UHC plan. And so then I put out a survey to our staff to give both feedback and thoughts they had. those have all been shared with you as board members. But I think what is key is that last question about how would you describe your agreement level on making the change to a different healthcare insurance provider? Now, only 31 people responded. I think although that's about half of our staff that are actually using our insurance, it also suggests that people perhaps that didn't respond didn't have a significant negative feel towards that. But of those that did respond, only 2 signaled as being neutral, and all the remainder were either very supportive or supportive of the change. So at this point, I'll open it up if anyone has any questions. Brianna or Katie, was there anything that you wanted to add to that?
I don't think so. I think you did a really great job outlining it. The only thing that I would add is that, I know Connie said that UHC is the only carrier that provided a proposal, and that's true. We did canvass all of the carriers, and the other carriers were having a hard time producing a competitive proposal. So we were very thankful that UHC is able to provide this proposal. And just to keep in mind, each medical carrier has a different kind of underwriting practice, as well as an appropriate rate for a plan design. So when UHC took a look at our plan design with that $3,500 deductible, the rates that they have, for that plan and based on our group size, were much more competitive than obviously what we have going on with WPS. So I just wanted to let you know, because it's obviously a big thing between WPS and UHC. And in all honesty, WPS, I was very surprised that they didn't counter with a competitive, kind of proposal or a revised renewal based on the numbers we received from UHC. So again, very thankful that UHC came in with this competitive proposal, and that we will see very little, if no disruption to staff with the providers. That would be my only comment. Katie, would you like to add anything?
No, I think you guys covered it well. I think to that point, Bree, I mean, when you look at United Healthcare and the suite of products that we've offered beyond just the rate component, we're very focused on wellness, well-being, ensuring that members are engaged in their healthcare, that they're also becoming better consumers, and we're providing the educational materials. So part of that you see reflected in the rates, because we do believe in that value that we bring to the marketplace.
Yeah, and I would just kind of echo, I have, I guess, worked with Brianna for many years, and I'm very appreciative of, that effort to go out and get us a big rate, or a really good rate for our district, because it has a significant impact both on our district and in terms of what we can provide for our students. Because let's face it, the more that we spend on insurance, the less money is available to provide for our student needs. So this is really important for us, and we really appreciate the work that both M3 did, and then also UHC coming in with that quote. So at this point, I would open it up for the board if there was any questions that they have or any motions that they would like to make. Okay.
No, I got no.
Oh,
No questions?
Is there a recommendation?
So I did not put a recommendation on this one because it is such a significant amount, and I felt that the board should make that recommendation. But clearly, based on the information, the recommendation would be to accept the bid from UHC to provide group health insurance for the Salem School District.
I move to accept the bid provided by UHC for health services, health insurance as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And motion carries. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So then just two other.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you so much. We're excited.
So
Have a
that,
great rest of your night and a good meeting. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Take care.
So two other quick things. One, the employee handbook allows for a health savings account. The gist basically of that is that the district has provided $2,000 for a single and $4,000 for a family in any one calendar year to offset the cost of the deductible that was referred to. My recommendation to the board would be to set those HSA amounts for eligible employees at the same amount as they are this year. The $2,000 for single and then the $4,000 for the +1 in the family. So that would not be a change, but that is how those policies were bid out with those in mind.
I motion to set the HSA amounts for eligible employees at $2,000 single and $4,000 +1 in family.
So moved.
Second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And motion carries.
And then the last thing would be the waiver from the employee handbook. At this point, employees who choose to waive group health and coverage are offered a cash in lieu participation incentive of $5,000 annually, prorated if necessary. My recommendation would be to set the waiver amount as $5,000 so that no change as presented.
I move to set the waiver amount at $5,000 as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And motion carries. That's easy.
And so the last item would be to adjourn, but just a reminder of upcoming board meetings. We have a personnel committee meeting tonight at 6:30, and our next regular board meeting would be December 15th.
I move to adjourn at 6:34.
Second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And we are adjourned. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all.